In this lesson, we'll review a question from a fictional reading passage. We're on page 540, question 12. And we know this is fictional because in the italics on page 539, the previous page, it states the passage is adapted from a novel set in London in the 1870s. So remember, there always will be one fictional passage, long passage in the critical reading section, has to either state it's from a novel or a short story. So if you see either of those words, we know it's fictional. And why do we make the distinction between fiction and nonfiction? And it's really because with the nonfiction, you can glean the main point in the beginning of the passage, but with fiction, a fictional passage, it really is a series of events, and there's more literary devices, metaphors, there's dialogue, so you really have to read it in its entirety. And here we have a question. The author uses the phrase benign monster in line 17 to do what? So if you read this passage, we know it's in London in the 1870s. It's about the shopkeepers on Greek Street who are getting up, as the shopkeepers do. And this is all part of selling their wares, their goods, and the process by which they're made. And there's lots of good detail here, but we see a metaphor, benign monster. Why does he use the phrase? So I've reproduced it below, and I always read a little bit above it when you're answering the questions for context. So starting in line 15, this is explaining a few days later a card arrives, an order is delivered. How that soap came to exist is no question for a modern man. Everything in this world issues fully formed from a benign monster called manufacturing. And I read a little bit further, a never-ending stream of objects of graded quality, of perfect uniformity, from behind veils of smoke. So we have to predict what this phrase, why does he use benign monster? This is really part of the process by which these goods are delivered, and no one questions how that soap, that raw material came into existence. It's fully formed from a benign monster. And if you look at the answers, you can sort of predict this benign monster. First of all, what does the word benign mean? This is a little bit of vocab, but ben is the root for kind or gentle, so it's not harmful. mal would be harm, but sort of a good-natured monster. So it's not monster, obviously, in the literal. It's sort of this kind monster. And if you look at the answer choices, you should be able to predict this is part of the process by which these goods are made. It certainly doesn't criticize the greed of merchants, evokes sympathy for the fate of the factory. There's no sympathy here. We're talking about the benign monster. How about characterize the process by which modern goods are created? This is exactly right. The manufacturing. This is the process by which the goods are created. And the word gets changed from created from manufacturing, but you should be able to predict it. This is a level 3. It's a moderate question. This definitely is the right answer. D, the consistency is not always an outcome of mass production. No, that's not on point, and emphasize that many hardships of the life. Again, you have to focus on why he uses this literary device, modern monster. Really, this is the manufacturing process. And so hopefully you'll arrive at the correct choice, which is C. All right, see you next time. Thanks for watching.